And street clothes and New York Yankees hat.
And that first hug and kiss, it was just like him being born all over again. I got to hold him, hug him. It was the best day of my life other than Jason being born.
The criminal justice system is about seeking the truth. It's about getting to the truth. The science was the case. The science was our case completely. And actually, the reason why things had gone so wrong in this case was because people didn't pay enough attention to the science.
Willowbrook sponsors Daytime TV.
Having to bend over to clean down low is a back-breaking chore. Why put your back and your knees through all that discomfort? Introducing the Scrub Buddy XL from JML. The cordless and rechargeable power scrub brush that helps clean fast and easily. Even those dirty old tiles are no match for Scrub Buddy XL. It makes quick work of calcium, soap and hard water stains. The secret is the rotating brush, spinning at over a whopping 300 RPM. The incredible torque can bust through caked-on crud with ease. And the handy extension pole gives you the reach to tackle low-down dirt without you having to bend over.
Just turn it on, I push a button, it starts spinning. It does the work for me. And as I'm cleaning my tile, I literally can see the dirt and grime coming off my tile. And it's just a miracle for me.
Choose from 3 custom, easy-to-change brush heads to tackle any kind of job. The cone-shaped brush is great for tight areas. It fits perfectly into corners, prying out every last bit of grime, dirt, mold and mildew. The flat brush is great for flat surfaces like shower doors, counters and walls. And the multi-purpose dome brush is fantastic for virtually any kind of job.
The Scrub Buddy XL cut right through the soap scum on my shower door. I can reach the very top of my shower. I absolutely love it, and it gets the job absolutely done.
I love my Scrub Buddy XL. After I'm cooking, it looks like a total mess. But that flat brush, all the burnt stuff comes off. It is super easy to use. In seconds and you're done.
Forget bending and straining to clean the bath. Use the handy extension pole. You can easily reach down into the tub to power away stains, or to the shower to clean moldy grout and tiles. Even clean those areas you couldn't normally reach.
Well, the extension pole on my Scrub Buddy XL is wonderful. This way, I just stand up straight, do my Scrub Buddy, and I don't have to strain my back like I used to.
The beauty is the Scrub Buddy XL does the work because it spins at such a high rate and has so many different attachments. I just guide it, but it does the work.
With the Scrub Buddy XL, you're getting a powerful, extendable power scrub brush with a rotating head that delivers a whopping 300 scrubs per minute. Perfect for blasting through soap scum, mildew and dirt. The extendable design gives you an extra meter of reach, so you can tackle up high or down low without having to bend down. Plus, it's completely cordless and rechargeable. Get the Scrub Buddy XL, complete with the extension pole giving you a 1 meter reach, the multi-purpose brush, the flat brush, and the cone-shaped brush for the incredible price of only $39.99. We're so confident you'll love your Scrub Buddy XL that it comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not completely satisfied, simply send it back for a refund. To get your hands on the Scrub Buddy XL and a sparkling clean home, call now or visit jmldirect.com.
This is not normal behavior for somebody who's worried about their missing wife.
Who can do that to somebody else, especially someone that they love? To this day, I don't.
You're watching Tyne TV. Time now for the latest from across our region with Your Northeast at 6.
Hi there and welcome to your latest update from your Northeast. I'm Lauren Tiller with a full roundup of the biggest stories from across the region, including what's new in sports and what you can expect from the weather. We begin, as always, with the top story making headlines right now. A culinary trailblazer and true local legend has received Newcastle's highest civic honour. Renowned chef and restaurateur Terry Laybourne has been awarded the Freedom of the City, celebrating decades of shaping the North East's food scene. From earning Newcastle's first Michelin star to building a hospitality empire loved by locals, Laybourne's impact is undeniable. Ellie Furman reports.
Renowned chef and restaurateur Terry Laybourne has been awarded the Freedom of Newcastle, the city's highest civic honour, in recognition of his extraordinary contribution to the North East's culinary and cultural life. The Leamington-born chef was hailed as a force of nature during a special ceremony at Newcastle Civic Centre on Wednesday, where Lord Mayor Henry Gallagher presented him with a prestigious scroll. Laybourne's name has also been carved into the sandstone wall of the banqueting hall, alongside fellow honoree and Newcastle United manager Eddie Howe. Laybourne, 69, made history in 1988 when his flagship restaurant, 21 Queen Street, became the first in Newcastle to receive a Michelin star, just 3 years after opening. Since then, his influence has only grown. His 21 hospitality group now includes some of the city's most popular venues, such as the Broad Chair, St Vincent and Fenwick Saltwater Fish Company, and Porterhouse Butcher and Grill. Speaking after the ceremony, Laybourne said he was privileged and a little bewildered to receive an honour shared by the likes of Sir Bobby Robson and Nelson Mandela. He also paid tribute to the thousands of staff he's mentored over the decades, saying, "I've been lucky to work with great people. More than 5,000 people have come through our restaurants." Reflecting on his earlier career, Laybourne described launching his now legendary restaurant as an act of blind optimism and a fair dose of stupidity. Since then, he's watched Newcastle's restaurant scene flourish into what he called a whole spectrum of choice, as Laybourne enters what he calls the autumn of his career. His legacy as a pioneer and mentor remains firmly rooted in the heart of the city he helped transform.
Next, Newcastle United manager Eddie Howe has been awarded the Freedom of Newcastle, the city's highest civic honour, in recognition of his outstanding role in guiding the club to its first domestic trophy in 70 years by winning the Carabao Cup. The Freedom of Newcastle is bestowed on individuals who make major contributions to life on Tyneside and is also held by sporting legends like Alan Shearer and Sir Bobby Robson. Howe, who joined the club in 2021, was not present at the ceremony at the Civic Centre but will receive a special presentation arranged by Newcastle City Council at a later date to celebrate his achievements. An emergency road closure in Gateshead on Askew Road has ended after concerns over a retaining wall near railway lines. Network Rail requested the closure due to safety issues along the wall. Traffic was redirected via Cuthbert Street and Tyne Road while demolition work began on the compromised structure. Network Rail said engineers are now safely demolishing the wall without disrupting traffic, and teams are assessing the situation to determine next steps. They thank the public for their patience as normal road access has now been restored. Liberal Democrat councillor Henry Gallagher has been named the new Lord Mayor of Newcastle, succeeding Rob Higgins in the city's highest ceremonial role. Born and raised in Walker, Gallagher has been a councillor since 2011 and is a long-term Newcastle United season ticket holder. During his year in office, he will raise funds for the People's Kitchen and Daft as a brush cancer patient transport service. The Lord Mayor chairs council meetings, welcomes visitors and represents Newcastle at major events, though the role is ceremonial rather than political. Gallagher's mayoral appointment continues the city's tradition of community service. Golden eagles are beginning to return to Northumberland from the south of Scotland, raising hopes they may nest in England once again. The birds, once wiped out by the mid-19th century, have been part of a successful translocation project. Sightings include a young male named Tala, seen in Northumberland's National Park. Experts say these eagles are exploring new territory and that the landscape either side of the border is ideal for them. Conservationists hope the birds will establish a population here in coming years. The return of golden eagles marks a milestone in regional wildlife restoration efforts. With the sun peeking out and the sky getting that little bit bluer, families across the nation will be looking forward to trips planned for over the summer holidays. But interestingly, it's been found that 31% of Brits admit that packing for a road trip is a major source of stress. With this in mind, it seems no surprise that 1 in 4 Brits often leave something at home. So we asked the people in our region whether they often take too much or too little on holiday with them.
Yeah, definitely. Especially being a girl who loves her makeup and that, I think we should definitely be allowed more.
It depends on how long you're going for. I think if you overpack and it's far too extensive, then there should be a limit. However, if you're going for a longer stay, you should be able to pack more.
I don't go on holiday very often, but I do think that a lot of the time the prices are probably too high for holidays and baggage prices.
I always overpack, always. I always think I'm underpacking, but as a punk I always take lots of footwear, so there's a lot of that goes on. We recently went to Dublin and you could only take your hand luggage, that was the deal, and they didn't seem very strict on it. We measured our suitcases, packed everything. There were people literally getting on with suitcases that were the size of coffins. So I think there could be a little bit more lax in what they're telling you to take.
With the sun finally making an appearance and the school holidays just around the corner, millions of families across the UK are gearing up for their spring and summer getaways. Whether it's a coastal escape, a countryside break or a long weekend with friends, the excitement is building. But there's one familiar hurdle that comes before the fun begins: packing. 14% of those surveyed said that trying to fit everything into a car boot is actually a barrier to taking a UK staycation. The younger generation seems to feel the strain even more. Among 25 to 34-year-olds, 26% say packing the car is more overwhelming than a drive itself. And that's before even getting to the inevitable family debates. The ones about who packed too much, but it's not all bad news. Experts are at hand. Professional organiser Vicky Silverthorne, known for helping celebrities declutter and simplify their lives, is now offering practical, no-nonsense tips to help us pack smarter, reduce stress and avoid slamming the boot shut with their entire body weight to make it close. Here are some of Vicky's top tips for packing like a pro. Side pack, don't stack. Packing suitcases on their sides instead of on top of one another allows easier access without lifting everything out. Plan for your arrival. If you're arriving late, keep the items you'll need right away, like pyjamas, close to the top. Reverse the order. Start with the heavier, less used items at the bottom and layer upwards. Soft meets hard. Use soft bags to fill the gaps around hard suitcases, maximising space. Pushchair placement. If you've got young children, make sure buggies and travel gear are quick to grab. Pack it tight. Prevent items from shifting during a journey by packing tightly. Have a grab-and-go kit. Use a small container for essentials like snacks, wipes and chargers that you might want during your journey. And finally, the golden rule: if you have to think twice about whether to bring it, then leave it behind. So if cramming bags into every corner and forcing suitcases shut is part of your usual holiday routine, this could be the summer to rethink the way you pack. With some planning and a few smart strategies, the stressful part could be a thing of the past. Now, 1 in 5 British travellers actually admitted to paying added baggage fees last year. This comes according to new figures. As temperatures rise, people in the northeast are turning their attention to summer travel. The latest YouGov figures show that Spain remains the most likely destination for British tourists, with the UK in second. Italy and Greece tie for third, and France completes the top 5. Italy is the most highly rated for quality and impression. Spain is rated best value for money, while the UK shares the top satisfaction score with Spain despite lower value ratings. Greece scores well on value, but less positively on satisfaction. These insights reflect a continued appetite for international travel, based by an awareness for cost and quality. For holidaymakers in the northeast, practical value and positive experiences remain key factors in travel choices. The most popular destinations from Newcastle Airport include popular European city break destinations. The most frequently flown routes from Newcastle Airport include Krakow and many destinations in Spain, including Malaga and Lanzarote.
You're watching Your Local Channel with me, Lauren Tiller. There's plenty more on the way. But first, what's the weather doing in our corner of the world? Let's find out how it could impact your plans in the coming days. Here's the full forecast. We're stepping away for a quick break, but don't go too far. We'll be back after this with more of the news that matters to you from across our region.
Play Happy Tiger Bingo for the most awesome bingo winning experience. Simply search for Happy Tiger Bingo.
This is Yemen right now. Years of conflict have left the health system on the brink of collapse. Children in Yemen face war, hunger, and disease. Yemen may seem far away, but there is something you can do. To find out how you can help, search UNICEF Yemen online or text Yemen to 84903. £10 could help provide life-saving therapeutic food for a child for a week. I've seen UNICEF's work and the difference your gift can make for children. No child should ever die because they don't have enough of the right food to eat. We cannot stand by and do nothing. So please, search UNICEF Yemen online or text Yemen to 84903 and help save a child's life today.
Family life. It's made of ups and downs and those little moments. But should the unthinkable happen to you? Life insurance from Legal & General can help look after monthly bills, the roof over their heads, childcare costs, and most importantly, your family. Because no one protects more families in the UK than us. Premiums start from £5 a month and they never rise. Plus there's a £100 gift card after you apply. Legal & General. Ensure life goes on.
When Tony passed, we wanted to celebrate him his way. All he ever spoke about was bite this, bite that. I'll never forget our first date. Huge grin on his face as he rode up on that big noisy thing. And that's exactly the way he'd want to be remembered.
At Co-op Funeral Care, we know everyone is different. That's why we offer funeral plans to funeral services that are personal, every step of the way.
If fly fishing and fly tying is your passion, you've got to visit lathkill.com. Lathkill is your one-stop online supplier for all your fly fishing and fly tying needs. We even custom dye materials just for you. All of our staff are keen fly fishers, so we understand what's needed to tie that perfect fly. And we're always on hand to offer expert help and advice. Check out our extensive range today at lathkill.com.
I ordered these yesterday, they turned up today, and I pay them off next month. This is the way.
See now, pay later with deferred payment and next day delivery at select specs.
I ordered these yesterday, they turned up today, and I pay them off next month. This is the way.
See now, pay later with deferred payment and next day delivery at select specs.
Welcome back to Tyne TV. It's 6:15. More now from our part of the world as we return to your northeast.
Next, UK vehicle manufacturing fell sharply last month with just 59,203 vehicles produced. This was the lowest April output in more than 70 years, aside from the pandemic year of 2020. The decline is linked to tariffs, the timing of Easter, and a shift towards electric vehicles. Output was 16% lower than the same month last year and 25% down on March. Car production for exports also dropped by 10.1%, mainly due to reduced demand from the US and EU. The Society for Motor Manufacturers and Traders said April's total for the first 4 months of the year was the lowest since 2009. The government has announced plans to reform the UK pension industry by creating £25 billion mega funds. These funds will be required to invest a portion of their assets locally to support economic growth and improve pension returns. The reforms follow examples from Australia and Canada, aiming to consolidate pension schemes and increase investment in infrastructure, housing and startups. 17 major pension firms have agreed to this voluntary framework, with a legislative backstop planned if progress is insufficient by decade's end. The new approach is expected to add more than £50 billion in UK investments and could boost pension pots by around £6,000 on average. Planning restrictions for heat pumps have been eased to help speed up the installation of this low-carbon heating technology. Previously, heat pumps had to be at least 1 metre from a neighbour's property, requiring planning permission that delayed many installations. The government's Warm Homes plan aims to improve energy efficiency and lower bills for households, especially in terraced housing. However, high upfront costs and the need for additional home upgrades remain significant barriers. Social landlords like Clarion Housing Group are investing in heat pump systems with government grants. And 2 major new reservoir projects in East Anglia and South Lincolnshire have been fast-tracked as nationally significant infrastructure to secure England's water supplies. Final planning decisions will be taken by the Environment Secretary, bypassing local authorities. The reservoirs, expected to open in 2036 and 2040, aim to increase resilience to droughts amid climate change and growing demand. The government plans to fast-track 7 more reservoirs. Another busy day in the world of local sport means plenty of headlines to unpack. From championship clashes to transfer speculation, we've got all the top stories for you right here. Here's the latest from our sports team.
Newcastle United head coach Eddie Howe has said that speed will be key for the club when it comes to recruitment this transfer window and acquiring the targets that they are looking to bring to Newcastle.
Yeah, speed is key for us, and I've reiterated that many times internally. Speed is key because we have to be dynamic, we have to be ready to conclude things very, very quickly, because good players don't hang around for long. That's always been my thought and my message on recruitment, really, because you can have a period where you think you've got time, but then you can look around very quickly and realise that time's elapsed and you've missed opportunities that you won't get again. So that's what we'll be trying. But obviously the reality of that is it's not always in your hands, but we'll be doing our best to do things early. Yeah, I hope I will have a discussion with the chairman and representatives from PAF today. So looking forward to that, trying to lay some foundations to what lays ahead for the summer. In terms of timings and everything that follows that, I don't know. But the planning and all the things going on behind the scenes has been there for a number of weeks. We've been working hard.
And Sunderland head coach Regis Lebris has made clear that now the club has been promoted to the Premier League, he hopes that many of the current squad will stay together as they face their next challenge.
At least we need to remember that the connection between players is often more important than the talent of one player. And for me, as a manager, I think in football in general, sometimes we forget that it's a collective sport, a collective effort, and we tend to focus on one talent who made the difference, but it's not the main point. The main point is the way you work together. And this squad was really impressive this season about their connection, even when it was tough. They stayed connected, they want to learn from mistakes and so on. So, yeah, it was a strong feeling this season.
The North East marks 80 years since the end of World War II, and a historic warship is sailing into the Tyne to help commemorate it. The Norwegian vessel is one of the last surviving ships from the Arctic convoys that supported the Allied victory, and for a short time, the public will be able to climb aboard. But for one local man, its arrival means far more than history. It's a personal link to the grandfather he never knew. Ellie Furman is at the quayside with Chris Flanagan.
Chris Flanagan from Wallsend has spent years piecing together the extraordinary wartime journey of his grandfather, Karl Thorsen, a Norwegian war sailor who risked everything to support the Allied cause during World War II. As a teenager, Karl fled Nazi-occupied Norway, joining the Merchant Navy and serving aboard Allied convoys.
So my granddad was Karl Thorsen, and he was a Norwegian war sailor. He left Norway when he was 22 due to the Germans invading Norway. Didn't return back until after the war. So he basically was on a number of different ships run by Nova ship. And some of the experiences that he had was, it's unbelievable to look at and see. So he was all over the world really, right away from Newcastle. He was all over. Some of the places I can't even tell you because can't even read the paperwork. But he ended up in Nova Scotia. It's Camp Norway, which was a machine gunner camp, and he trained to be a machine gunner out there. So then from there, he was then on board being a machine gunner for his merchant ship. So my dad had actually started the family tree, and we had knew that there was a medal that had been missing for about 40 odd years. We couldn't trace that medal. And what had happened was, I stuck a post on Facebook to Norwegian Heritage, and a gentleman from Norway called Jens got in touch with us and says, oh yes, these medals need to be awarded to him. So they then come across to Britain, and a gentleman called Victor Molskog came up from London and delivered them to her. So there was the Convoy Cup, the Norwegian Machine Gunners Medal, and then about 7 weeks after that, we ended up getting the King Harold's Freedom Medal that had come through as well, that he was entitled to.
A ceremony at the Trafalgar Memorial in London marked the formal presentation of the medals, a deeply emotional moment for Chris and his family. Now the arrival of the SS Hesmanden on the River Tyne has brought their journey full circle. The SS Hesmanden is a reversed symbol of Norway's wartime sacrifice.
So for myself, it's sort of getting the chance to see what ships he had been on. But it's not just for my grandfather's legacy, I would say it's for every single war sailor who, you know, they're on board ships, they weren't military men, they were there to help the cause of the Second World War at the end of the day. So it's not just my grandfather's legacy, it's nice that I'm actually going down that route and seeing his legacy, but it's for like sort of untold stories as well that haven't been told, and to get to go on board and sort of see that and pay respect to the men and women that did give up their lives for us really is phenomenal.
The city of Newcastle has a lot of historic links with Norway, and the Newcastle upon Tyne Trinity House likewise has historic links. All three modern kings of Norway have been honorary members of this house. So we have a lot of interest in this. The story of the Norwegian Liberation Convoy, of which the steamship Hesmanden is a part, is something that's of natural interest to us, and something that we're very happy to support. We're taking on the role of coordinating visits to the ship, and we are also hosting a very special church service here in this chapel. It's an open service, anybody's invited, but we are aiming it, of course, at the local Scandinavian community and the descendants of wartime sailors in particular. And the head of the Norwegian Seamen's Church in London is coming up to conduct the service alongside the Dean of Newcastle. So we're very honoured by their presence, and that will be a very, very special service.
During her visit to the Tyne, the Hesmanden will be open to the public until Wednesday the 4th of June. Visitors will have the chance to explore exhibitions within the ship's hull and witness her fully operational steam engine in action. A rare and powerful tribute to those who served at sea.
You're watching Your Local Channel with me, Lauren Tiller. There's plenty more on the way. But first, what's the weather doing in our corner of the world? Let's find out how it could impact your plans in the coming days. Here's the full forecast. We're stepping away for a quick break, but don't go too far. We'll be back after this with more of the news that matters to you from across our region.
This is an urgent appeal to support children